Geoff Sadler, good afternoon, and welcome to to our interview about the fact that you're the chairman of the government panel. I think is the correct title, is it not?
That's correct. Thank you very much, Marcy. Yeah.
So, just to start with, give me a bit about your background, your sort of career, and what perhaps also what made you join and when you joined the company.
Well, it's two careers, actually. My first career was in the Air Force. I was an aircraft engineer. But unfortunately, somewhere along the way there, they found out that I'd done a bit of IT computing at one stage. So I was involved in Air Force IT for some of my tours. Though my second career was in the civil service, mostly in the Cabinet Office. And again, they unfortunately found out that I had an IT background. So my last few years were directing one of the IT systems within the Cabinet Office. I've known John Gavin for years, and it was through John, when he found out that I was involved in IT, that I got involved with the company. So I've been a member of the company now since 2009.
Good, quite a long time. So, and what got you involved in the government panel, and how long have you been the chairman?
Well, it was John again who got me involved with the government panel when I was thinking about joining, and he knew my background. And also, I've known Ray Long for a long time, who was the first chairman when the panel was set up, and I joined it about a year, I think, after it was set up. I did for a while, was the acting secretary, and then I became chairman just under 5 years ago.
Oh, so you're a long-standing chairman. Good. So tell me about what does the panel do? That probably sounds a bit of a silly question given its title, but I think most people would wonder what its sort of angle is, if you like.
I think it's a very good question, actually. A brief summary then of what we are about. In theory, government has an involvement in anything and everybody that everybody does, and IT is a key to doing that. So the government panel could be a super panel of the company and get its involved in everything that a company does. Clearly, that's not feasible. So we need to focus on what we do. We leave to other committees and panels their specific areas of interest. So, for instance, the Education Committee, cyber, we don't lead on those issues, though they're more than happy to support those panels if there is something that on a government aspect that they want to help with, but we leave them to lead on those issues. So we try and focus on the current government issues, IT issues. So some of these can be fairly general, or we'll pick up on things that don't fit into one particular panel, but may fit into a number, and they're not quite sure who to lead.
And I also think you're quite helpful in sort of helping people negotiate the pathways of the civil service and government where another panel wants some help.
Yes, that's an interesting one, because it's not an area that we have necessarily thought was an important part of our role. We have tended to focus on the IT issues, but it's become clearer that this is an area that some people are looking for help in, and we're more than happy to provide. And so one of the things that we are thinking about running is a series of events called Demystifying Government, because the other thing that people don't appreciate is that there's no one answer to government. They all work in different ways. Even central government departments tend to have different cultures. If you're dealing with local government, there's something like 450 different councils that you could be dealing with, and they tend to vary. So what we're thinking of running is a series of events to get a speaker or a panel of speakers to talk about a particular department or a particular area of government to see if that's of interest to people.
Well, I'm sure it will, because people like you and Ray, who've been senior civil servants, have bundles of experience, and I'm sure that there are lots of us who would welcome specific help. And I hope actually anybody who listens to this, if you need help and you're trying to deal with the government panel, it would be very helpful, I think, perhaps to contact you, Geoff, and I know you'd welcome that.
Yeah, happy to do that. But again, you see, Ray and I, our experience is several government, although I did, when I was serving in the Air Force, I did work in the Ministry of Defence as well, so I have some background there. But there's lots of other areas of government around devolved government, health service, which is something I don't know a lot about, although we are fortunate now in having a member just joined our panel with a health service background. So there are lots of bits of government, you know, that we still need to get into.
Oh, that's very good. Anyway, tell me, what are you working on at present? Is there anything particular you're working on at present?
Yes, we've got a small core group that get together on a monthly basis, putting our program together. We had actually started doing this online just before the pandemic, before lockdowns, so that has proved quite useful. And we've managed to run a couple of events during lockdown. We're working on an event called Digital Soldier. We have in the past run events around IT in the Air Force and information warfare in the Navy. So to complete the tri-service element of it, we're going to do one on the Army. We're working with the IT and Climate Change Working Group and looking at having a joint dinner with them in the hall, probably about October time. We're trying to set the data up for that. As you probably recall, the government panel takes the lead now on the Tri-Livery event through Julia George, who is our lead to that. So she's working on that for September. And you may have seen the series of articles we've been running in Monitor about just to introduce government to people as well. So there's plenty going on at the moment.
And how many panel members do you have, and sort of active versus perhaps slightly more dormant, shall we say?
Yeah, the active members, the ones that meet monthly, there are 10 of us. And then we have a circulation group that of about 50 people that we circulate information around to. A few of those are not actually members of the company, although we hope they may become so in the future, but they're useful contacts to have.
And I guess you're looking for new members. And if so, what sort of, do you need any qualifications, if I can put in that, or specific experience?
Certainly not. I think the only thing we would say is enthusiasm is something that we would like. Yes, with all that we've got going on and the 10 core members that I've got at the moment, 2 of them are sort of at that point in the demographic that they are thinking of winding down their activity, and several others are involved with other panels. So we're always looking for more people to get involved. So the main experience is enthusiasm. And you most definitely don't need experience working in government, and most of the panel don't have that experience.
Is there something that you hope to do in the next 1 to 2 years?
I think the main one actually is the one I've already mentioned, which is the demystifying government series, which we are thinking about.
I think that would be very good. I think that would be very helpful.
And related to that, as we are doing that and as we are running events, we're building up knowledge and experience. And so we're going to try and put that into one place as a repository of information, which is available to company members. We started by doing that on the website, but now the solution is to put it within Teams, but we still need to do some more work on that side.
Yeah, I mean, I think there'll be a combination of places. Teams is one, and also I think there will be, each panel will certainly have a page on the new website, but I think that'll be largely external facing. What do you think would be your greatest achievement in the last 2 or 3 years?
Can I have 2?
Oh, this is Dennis Island Discs, you know.
Well, because I was going to pick one that was an event that we actually ran in the hall, which was the one with the Royal Navy, which was really interesting about how they are merging together all the IT on their ships, on land, and everything else. You know, that was a really interesting talk. And then the one,
they're going to put the army under pressure, are they? For the
oh, very much so. Yes, that's right. Yes, although we've got a couple of people with a lot of practical experience, so I think they'll be able to go with that. Yes, but there's no harm in having some inter-service pressure, though.
No, not at all.
And the other one that I was going to mention is the internet governance events that we talked about, which in some ways we had started to think about it before lockdown, but we ended up doing it during lockdown as an online event, and that was a benefit. We were lucky to get Sheriff Michael Manelli to chair it, because I don't know enough about the government, the internet governance to really chair something sensibly like that. And he has a lot of experience in that area, and it has a very good chairman as well. So he did an excellent job there. And we got 4 really good speakers to do a look at different aspects of internet governance, including Olaf Kolkman, who lives in Belgium. So we would have never got him if we hadn't have actually run it as an online event. But what it did was raise awareness of some of the issues that are going on, and we're now looking at how we might follow that up in the future.
Geoff, thank you very much indeed for your time this afternoon. That's been very helpful. And if anybody wants to join the panel, they can either contact you, or there is also Sam, our assistant to the clerks. Her contact details are on the last slide, so to speak, of this interview.
Yeah, happy for them to contact me. Thank you, Master.